Hey, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And as you watch this video, my future self is most likely figure skating on the Navigator of the Seas cruise ship somewhere floating in the Caribbean with maybe a Shirley Temple by my side. I don't know. Yeah, I don't drink, so Shirley Temples are my once in a couple of years treat. Anyway, so I asked Horace before I left because I was like, I don't know if I can do this, video in the middle of the ocean. So I said, Source, what am I talking about, this week? How can I help people? How can I serve? And I got the word dampness. Now, this is very interesting because I have the body type that is in Chinese medicine is like an earth, a combination of wood and earth, but a lot of earthiness. So that body type tends to accumulate damp when it's out of balance and when we eat certain things in excess. So my body type as earth, our tendency is to worry, which I did a lot of in my youth, for sure. Lots and lots of worrying. We tend to be very sensitive to things like sugar, damp foods like sugar, dairy, milky substances, fried foods, which I really like, but, and all that, fatty things, those are kind of damp foods. And so we're sensitive to that. And what happens is when it is damp outside, which it has been in the Adirondacks where I live, because we're not quite snowy, well, a little bit snowy, but it can be rainy, snowy, is that you probably heard of people having, rheumatoid joints or pain when they can tell when their migraines or something, they can tell when the damp weather's coming right through their body. That is a form of dampness. Now, for me, even though I was doing very rare dairy, and what I did do dairy was maybe ghee, clarified butter on top of my, popcorn or something like that. And didn't do a lot of sweets, didn't eat ice cream. Occasionally I would make my own in the summer, with coconut milk and stuff like that. But, and I didn't even eat that much fried foods, but still I was damp. And I know this can be frustrating, especially if you're a sensitive soul and you're like, well, gee, I'm trying all the stuff that, they say to do and it's still not working. So what do you do? Well, I decided about a month ago that I was going to do an experiment. So this was before the International Skating Union Adult Figure Skating Championships, and that was in mid-October. So it was before that I decided at the beginning of October that I was going to do the Desiree Biologicals diet called the Evolution Weight Management Diet, which is a very kind of boring name, but basically it's a modified HCG diet. So the reason I did this is because I did it 3 or 4 times previously in the years past before all this ascension weight came on, and it was very, very successful for me. But it was really difficult for me to maintain that weight because the minute I would go off maintenance and would start eating like nuts or, coconut milk, or legumes, something like that, I would start gaining the weight. And I was like, blah, it's not even damp foods, Some of it wasn't even damp foods. So then I've been asking Source, like, okay, I really want to get to that place where of full consciousness where I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, not to worry too much about, my body's going to be healthy no matter what, and setting my mindset on that. So I've been working on that for the last 3 years. However, with the Ascension upgrades, when the upgrades would occur, sometimes my whole body would swell. I mean, I would gain 3 pounds overnight. It was crazy stuff. So over time, over 3 years or so, it accumulated, actually probably more than 3 years now, it ends up being more than 25 pounds, And so I thought, okay, well, maybe you're just fat, Karen, right? That's damp, right? You're fat. So I went to the CrossFit gym locally, and I said, you guys have that body composition DEXA scan, right? And, yep. So I got the DEXA scan, And even though I was, overweight, so-called overweight for me, 25 pounds over, they said, well, your body composition is very normal. It's very healthy. Your percentage fat is healthy. I mean, you could, get it lower, but you'd have to work really hard to do that. Exercise a ton and really be super strict on your diet. And they said and the doctor said, MD, he said, what I'm really happy about is that your visceral fat, the fat in your belly, okay, inside your belly, lining the organs, stuff like that, right? The unhealthy fat, he says, that's less than a pound. That's excellent. In fact, I beat James, my very cut, muscular husband, on his visceral fat percentage. Yeah. And you're like, how'd that happen? But here's the thing. I asked the doctor, I said, okay, so if I don't have that unhealthy visceral fat, why is my belly so swollen? And he was like, well, it must be subcutaneous fat, right? So under the skin fat, not the dangerous type of fat. He says, that's pretty hard to get rid of. And I said to myself, you know what God tells me? God tells me it's fluid. Now, not to say that there's fat as well, but a lot of that's fluid. And it's ascension fluid. The ascension fluid is like a gel. The ascension fluid is like a gel, and so that it takes up more room, literally. So the size, goes up. So I was like 5 inches extra on my belly, and probably 3-4 inches on my hips, and kind of everywhere else kind of expanded as well. So I kept not wanting to be on any particular strict diet because I'd done it. And initially when I started the HCG diet, or the modified HCG diet, we did the one for athletes. So that one, the traditional one, you do 500 calories, you don't exercise, and that's for if you're, morbidly obese or, have a lot to lose, right? So in the past, I did the modified one, which is for athletes and for active people. You do 1,000 calories. You are very, very strict, like no legumes, no nuts, no seeds, no high glycemic or glycolic foods, very, very clean, no processed foods, no fats. Now, of course, you can't do this forever because no fats is, dangerous over long periods of time, I believe. So the idea is to get your hypothalamus to open the doorway to burn your own subcutaneous and whatever fat you have, right? Visceral fat. So I had great success with this previously, but would gain the weight back and to some extent. And then when Ascension hit, lots more weight came on board. So I said, okay, so here we are, James and I, less than a month before we compete at the international figure skating competition. And I said, honey, we really need to do this lift in this pair program. And he's like, oh, I don't know, you're so much heavier. And even though I'm stronger, I'm doing CrossFit, I've got new skates, so, kept putting it off. And, finally our coach is getting slightly concerned because we have not practiced that lift, and we were supposed to compete in 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And so finally we started doing it, and he said it was hard, technique wasn't great, of course, as well. So I said to myself, okay, I wonder what it would be like if I did the modified HCG diet while training for the competition. I've never done that experiment, and I'm home now, so I can cook, lunch and dinner fairly easily and shop and whatever. So I decided to do that experiment. I had no idea what it was going to do, whether it was going to work, whatever, but it was literally like, okay, I've done this 4 times. I know how to do it. So I've got it down to a science. Okay. So there are specific supplements that you take, including the HCG. Now the HCG is not the injectable type, and it's not even the whole hormone. HCG is human choreogonadotrophic. Anyway, it's the hormone that you get when you're pregnant, okay? But this is at much, 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 much smaller doses. So in this particular supplement, it has the active portion of that hormone, okay, and not the stuff in between. And so you have less side effects, and then it has some homeopathics and stuff like that. So that's from Desiree Biologicals. So So I have it down to a science. So for the breakfast, there's a smoothie, and then I add my morning snack, which is a cup of berries, to that smoothie. Okay, and in this case, I didn't use theirs because I ran out and I didn't want to do whey because it's kind of damp. So I did bone broth. So I did bone broth protein and some a multivitamin. Put that all in with no fat. Okay, with the berries. Okay, so that was breakfast, and then lunch is 6 to 6.5 ounces of lean meat like chicken breast or turkey or lean steak or fish, something like that, and 2 cups of vegetables, cooked or raw. And there's certain ones you can't do, like you can't do sweet potatoes because it's too sweet. Sugary, whatever. Can't do potatoes, that kind of thing. But you can do cauliflower, broccoli, green beans, all that kind of stuff. And then for dinner, you pretty much do the same thing. So the funny thing is when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I think I'm actually eating more than usual. At least more meat and more vegetables. And I thought that's very interesting. Now, the first time I did this diet, I was terrified because when I got hungry, I was like, and this fear came in. I'm starving, feed me, And luckily I had LifeWave patches to help me with appetite, and they had the homeopathics. The LifeWave patches really saved me the first couple of times because I was really nervous. But this time, here I am, I'm training now. Okay, now mind you, I'm only skating a half an hour, but intensely, okay, for half an hour. For this competition. So you are supposed to exercise on the modified HCC diet. It's 1,000 calories, that 3 times a day meal, and then there's a snack in the evening as well, which I really enjoy, which I'll show you right now. It is basically a whole apple, and I decide I like apple cooked, so I actually cook it with cinnamon and like golden milk, which is like this turmeric kind of thing. Anyway, it's delicious. So I get to have dessert every night, which I never do normally. And just like before, this experiment, I can tell you, was successful. Just like before, the weight started to come off. And what's really interesting is that jelly, that people would just say, well, it's just fat. But, that jelly water, it was like I was eating so clean, so no packaged foods, like no, nothing that I didn't cook, right? Super, super clean. Is like the weight started to come off just like it did before. Of course, I had much more weight to lose this time. And so at the end of about 30 days, 29 days, 29 days, basically released about over 10 pounds. So, and you're like, oh, is that healthy? Well, you know what? I've read this, the HCG diet by the original doctor who did it. And very, very interesting stuff. It's all about this hypothalamus, balancing it so it'll release the subcutaneous fat. Now in this program, because I'm doubling the amount of calories than the original, we actually have to exercise, which is not a problem, right? For me, my problem was like not exercising would be really hard. So and so it's super helpful. And so I gotta be honest, it's actually kind of nice to be able to do that skating lift, to look at the skating pictures and go, hey, I look pretty good in them, instead of, oh, my belly looks that big in real life, because it's like, and to be able to move across the ice faster, easier, doing the jumping easier, like everything's easier. And I was like, okay, I just want to eat whatever I want. But the thing is, it wasn't hard and it wasn't addictive. And yes, you do have to weigh yourself every day, but there's no anxiety. I'm not afraid of being hungry. I think that's really interesting. Even a little hungry before, I was terrified of it. So that being slightly hungry, that feeling when I'm, up late at night or whatever, it's not the end of the world. And I'm not getting a headache or any of those bad symptoms, when you starve yourself. The subcutaneous fat definitely is going down. I can feel it. The abdominal water, we'll see how that goes. But I'm just going to show you real quick some of the supplements that we're on in this program in case you want to contact Desiree Biologicals and do something similar. I'm definitely using LifeWave patches big time, okay, during this whole thing to support myself. Energy enhancer patches, Ice Wave patches if I have any pain, Eon patches at night for stress relief and brain balancing, X39 stem cell enhancing patches because I'm an athlete, carnosine patches at night as well to help with tissue repair, the appetite control patches, very, very helpful, along with the energy enhancer patches. So I am very, very comfortable. I've got this down to a science. In fact, when I do my cooking, this is like, you can't cook in butter, you can't cook in oil, which I normally do, right? So I cook in bone broth. Brilliant, right? I think it's brilliant. Or tea. So if I do a dessert, I do it in tea, or just water. But I cook everything in bone broth. Low fat commercial bone broth. And so chicken, beef, fish, everything is cooked in bone broth. And you know what? My flavoring has been really improving, like in terms of like my taste buds, like vegetables taste sweeter, everything tastes better. So eating that clean is really awesome for you, you know? Now, if you were to eat what I did with that amount of calories without doing the HCG, that might be a little dangerous, so I do not recommend it. But I'm just going to show you the supplements that I'm on. So I'm going to show you my basic supplements, which I always take, and I take it even on vacation with me. So this is Mineral Force. This is from Dr. Davis, Stephen Davis. And this is energized with frequencies. And this gives me, you know, the gamut of minerals. And the minerals are alive. Now, the complement to that is Mag Force. So as an athlete as well, and for someone who is, you know, working hard, detoxing, that kind of thing, Mag Force is really awesome. So I take a capful of Mag Force, and I think I take like 2 or 3 capfuls of this every day. And then the Desiree Biologicals for this weight loss program, we use this, the Comprehensive Detox Program. The supplements, they're all homeopathics, okay? And very pretty, actually. See that? So we have day 1, 2, 3. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are these 3. So these 3 are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and this is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, and the first one here is Cerebromax. That's for your brain. The second one is to detox your spinal cord. The third one, Matrix Support, is like the tissues on the cellular level. Detox 1 is to help your liver. I don't know if you can see that picture of the liver in there. Detox 2 is to help the kidneys. And Detox 3, which is the one I need the most, is the one for lymphatic system, right? Clear the lymphatic system. So these are absolutely necessary for you to be successful on the program. So don't try to do the diet without it. And I'm going to show you the supplements. So this is the HACG supplement that I take. So it has the active peptides of HCG, but not the whole hormone. And then it has homeopathic ingredients in there. So we take 30 drops of that per day, and you can put it all in, you know, big, huge thing of water and mix them all up. Hormone combination, they say it's really good for women that are past the age or that are menopausal. So I'm taking that. And they said for women over, or men or women over 50, that's a good idea to take HGH Vitality. So this is a homeopathic remedy that helps to support your human growth hormone. So I figured I'm just going to go by the book. So I'm taking that as well, and you can mix these all in. And then this is an optional one, but I did have it left over from the office, so I'm taking this one too, Appetite Control. So that helps you kind of even out, balance your energy so you're not as hungry during the program. And of course, I have all my LifeWave patches on. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And I got to tell you, it's super satisfying to, first of all, I've got this down to a science, so it is not hard. It doesn't, I mean, for the first time, if you did it, it's probably going to be hard because you've probably never been that disciplined to that extent for your diet. If you have, congratulations, because you have to measure it. You have to, you know, measure out your food, you know, that kind of stuff. But I can cook these meals super, super fast, you know, and it's actually kind of easy for me. And I'm eating, of course, about double the amount of vegetables I normally eat. I hate to admit that. Eating more meat than usual. I hate to admit that. But it works, you know, and my belly feels smaller. I look better in my clothes. I'm skating better. You know, my knees are still a little swollen, but I don't think that's from the diet or anything detoxing. I think that is like a spiritual issue, at least because it gets better whenever I do spiritual healing. But the tissues feel more relaxed. You know, they're not so tight. And that's what's really great. And yeah, so I just want to share with you exactly, you know, what I've been doing. And basically, after a month or 43 days, you have to quit and do maintenance, and then you can't do the next round till 8 weeks later. I don't have 43 days because I'm going on a vacation. So after 30 days, I'm quitting, and then I have to be on maintenance. So while I'm on, you know, the cruise, I am avoiding, you know, sweet potatoes, but I can do fats now. I'm avoiding legumes. I'm avoiding, you know, sugary stuff, you know, sweets and all that kind of stuff. And you're thinking you're on a cruise, like that's what you're there for, right? To eat the sugar. I'm getting no, not in this case. So it'll be interesting to go on maintenance because I'm not home cooking, so it is a little challenging, but I'm going to try my best. And yeah, and so, you know, so right now I was 142.6, and as of this recording, 131.6. And it's been about, well, exactly 30 days. Yeah, exactly 30 days. And so it's very efficient. And, well, obviously it costs, you know, more than just eating less because you have all these supplements and things like that. But the thing is that if you just eat less, you run the risk of not, you know, you run the risk of burning off your muscle as well as the fat, right? So the homeopathics and the HCG is there to tell your brain, tell your hypothalamus to release the fat, and that's how it works. And it's pretty much every patient that I had that tried this diet, who also used LifeWave patches especially, did really well on it. When they tried to do the diet without it, which I did not recommend, okay, but they were trying not to buy stuff, okay, doesn't work. Doesn't work, and I think it's dangerous, so don't do it without it. But you can check it out at desbio.com, I think, and you know, and talk to the nutritionists there. And if you're interested in that, you know, they can walk you through that hopefully. And then, like I said, I would do LifeWave patches, and I would do these two in addition to whatever they recommend for you. Yeah, so there it is. My dampness is much better, and again, hate to admit it, but I am snoring less. Because I was snoring quite a bit from the dampness. Yeah, so I think that this was an experiment that was successful, and I will likely do it again in the new year after this whole, you know, 8 weeks goes by. We'll try to maintain as much as I can and be very mindful about what foods are triggering for dampness. But it, you know, I still look forward to my popcorn, you know what I mean? My carbs, that kind of thing. So wish me luck on all of that. Okay, so I know this is kind of long, but let me run through the announcements. I almost forgot to say that. So that's what's been going on with me lately, but it's been great to release those 10, 11 pounds so far. So LifeWave, sorry, not LifeWave, Light Warrior Radio on Monday the 11th. I'm going to be interviewing Bryan Mours, and he is the one in charge for the company that was from the Czech Republic. Wait, okay, was it Czech? Or anyway, me and my geography. Slovenia, Slovakia. Anyway, so on that side of the world. I'm really smart about certain things and totally not smart about other things. Anyway, so they have this really interesting product that is a glass water bottle that is infused and etched and with the specific sacred geometry and structure so that it structures the water into crystals of love and gratitude. And if you are familiar with Masaru Emoto's work from Japan, that the crystals that are formed by the energy of love and gratitude are gorgeous crystals, and that our bodies receive water in that crystalline form as like a healing. So drinking water that has been structured in this way is highly desirable. However, there's never been a really, let's just say, consistent, reliable way of structuring your water into love and gratitude until now. And so when I heard about this flask from my good friend Mary Perry, and Rosie Sarandeva, I was like, oh, this is really, really cool. So I went to the website, checked out the light score, that's what I do, and said, I want to try this. So I ended up buying a whole bunch of my own logo version of it. And I said, Bryan, hey, can you explain all this stuff, all the science, all this stuff to my listeners? He said, sure. So he's coming on the show Monday, so 12 noon. So if you want to ask some questions live, please call in live to do that. So if you're on my mailing list, KarenCan.com, we're going to mail you the exact link, okay, and all the information to call in live to listen to the show. And if you can't make it live at 12 noon Eastern on Monday, no worries. It's going to be archived and recorded. Okay, so the other really cool thing I have for you, on my tribe, is that there is going to be a special masterclass, okay, with Jeff Gignac, my other awesome friend. And this is very exciting. He is going to be launching something called Energetic Support Services. So imagine being plugged in to a system, a membership, where every week you receive, okay, a transmission of healing. Not only that, every week you actually go through a program that builds foundationally on these, happiness, peace, prosperity, health, and in this very, very organized way. And so it's like going through a 12-month healing program where you literally every week get a healing. Okay. And so he was telling me about this, and I thought of something similar before, but honestly, I just don't have time to do that personally. So, but Jeff is amazing, and our frequencies really resonate with each other. So I was kind of excited when he was telling me about this. So he asked to say, hey, can I share this with your group? I said, yeah, absolutely. So Tuesday, so Monday we have the radio show, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have a special Zoom call with you. And if you're on my mailing list, KarenCan.com, you will be able to get that link. It is going to be a free call. He's going to go over how this all works, and get this. The membership fee is like less than $10 a month to get healing 4 times a month. Like crazy, right? Crazy. Anyway, so I definitely want you to be on that call if you're interested in something like that. I think this is a great option for people that, especially that are starting out in the energy healing world, and or cannot afford like a private session with me or some of my programs, because they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars, even though they're great value and you learn so much and be empowered. Sometimes the budget doesn't allow that right now, so this is a really great entry level thing to do, less than $10 a month to get this healing. And you have your, and you get home play. You know exactly what you're doing, your responsibility, like what you are doing to do self-healing, and then you receive this healing. It's so amazing. Anyway, so he's going to tell us all about it. So mark your calendars for the 12th of Tuesday, the 12th of November, at 1 p.m. Eastern. So that you can be on this call. There's a limited spots on this call, first come, first serve. So if you click that link earlier, you get on. I think that's how it works. It's going to be a Zoom call. So really look forward to that. Okay, guys, have a great rest of the week. Until next time, bye for now.